Hello everyone, our lesson today is 1.4 powers of 10 and exponents. Let's go ahead and get into it. Please take a second and write this stuff down. If you need to pause, go ahead and do that. The essential question, how can you use exponents to show powers of 10? That's the question we're going to answer today. And the terms that you need to write down is base, which is the number that is being repeated, and exponent, which is the number that shows how many times it's being repeated. And I'm going to show you what that means. Go ahead and pause right now, though, if you need to write that down. So hopefully you've paused. We're going to go ahead and show you what that means. Okay? So if I have a number, okay, there we go. If I have 10 to the third power, 10 is going to be my base. That's the number that's going to be repeated. 3 is going to be my exponent. That's telling us how many times is the number 10 going to be repeated. 3 times. So 10 to the third power is the same as 10 times 10 times 10. 10 to the second power would be the same as 10 times 10. And 10 to the fourth power is the same as 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. 10 to the first power is just 10. And 10 to the 0 power is 0. So one way to look at this is to say, okay, 10 to the third power, there's 3 tens. Okay, our answer is going to have 3 zeros because any whole number multiplied by 10 ends in a 0. So I have 3 zeros there. I know that 10 times 10 times 10, which is 100 times 10, is the same as 1,000. Look how many zeros there are. 3 zeros in 1,000. 3 zeros here. So 10 to the second power is the same as 10 times 10. Wonder how many zeros are going to be in our answer. It's the same as 100. And 10 to the fourth power, or 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. Take a second, and I want you to guess how many zeros are going to be in your answer. So hopefully you've guessed that it is 4 zeros in your answer, which means it's going to be 10,000. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys the rules. I want you guys to go ahead and write down the rules, and then I'll give you a couple examples, and we will be done. Let's see. So here are the rules, okay? And go ahead and write that down. When you're looking at exponents or a number that's put into a power, into like a certain power, it's going to be repeated, right? When you put it in exponents, the exponents show how many zeros are going to be added to the whole number, and this is when you're multiplying tens. So the powers of 10 in exponent, okay? So when you're multiplying it in tens, you want to see, okay, how many zeros are going to be added, because it increases the place value. So like 10 to the third power is the same as having 3 zeros, because you're moving that number 3 different places. So you want to count the zeros to also find the exponent. All right, go ahead and write those steps down, and I'll get into more details when we get into our example. Okay, so go ahead and write those steps down. Hopefully you've done that. And let's go ahead and show the first example. We're going to talk about hummingbirds today. It's a nice picture of a hummingbird. Go ahead and write this example down as well. Hummingbirds flap their wings 3 times 10 to the third power a minute. How many times is that? Well, let's take a look. Okay. Hopefully you pause. If you need to rewind, go ahead. But 3 times 10 to the third power, okay. Once again, first step, the exponent shows how many zeros are added to the whole number. It moves up the place value. So I see the exponent is 3. I know 10 to the third power is the same as, okay, 3 times 1,000. Okay, because there's 3 zeros, 3 zeros. So that tells you that's what the exponent's going to be. Now, okay, I just have to multiply. 3 times 1,000, which equals 3,000. And that's my answer. The answer is 3,000 times per minute. Okay. Once again, the first step is look at the exponent. It's going to show you how many zeros are going to be in that multiplication problem, and it's going to be in tens. So 3 zeros, 10 times 10 times 10 is 1,000. Then you just multiply 3 times 1,000. All right, the second step is for the second problem. So let's go ahead, if you have any questions, write them down. But let's go ahead and go to the second problem. Okay, hang on a second. Oh, man. There we go. All right. The second problem says the moon, there's the moon, is 240,000 miles from Earth. What is the distance if it was written as a whole number? All right, go ahead and write that problem down. I already have it written down in my notes, so I'm going to go back to Paint here, and let's go ahead and go over it. So it said the moon is, let's erase this, 240,000 miles from Earth. Well, if you looked at step 2 for our steps, it says count the zeros to find the exponent. So, how many zeros are here? 4. So, we know that it's going to be 10 to the 4th power, because that's going to give us those 4 zeros. And now when you say, okay, what's the whole number that's going to be multiplied by 10? Well, it's everything that's not a 0. So 2 and 4. So it's going to be 24. 24 times 10 to the 4th power. So the moon is, if it was written in an equation using exponents, that's what it would be. 24 times 10 to the 4th power. Okay? Once again, you got to look at the zeros. It's going to show you how many times 10 is being multiplied. And in this case, you want to look at the whole numbers. You get 2 and 4, 24, and that's what you're multiplying 10 to the 4th power by. 24 times 10 to the 4th, or 24 times 10,000. Okay? Please, if you have questions, write them down. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.